Hey, I'm Hollis, and welcome to the Friendly Fangirl podcast, where I nerd out on the films, shows, and video games that I encounter every week. Be sure to follow this podcast, and please follow my Twitter and blog at Hollis Films to follow my journey experiencing the entertainment industry's greatest stories. Beware of spoilers, you have been warned. So I know nothing about the original Red Dead Redemption. I just know 2 came out and was quite the phenomenon in the gaming community. I wouldn't say it was my favorite game of 2018, with God of War, Spider-Man, and Detroit Become Human also releasing that year. But Red Dead Redemption 2 definitely holds its own as an incredible open-world experience. Red Dead 2 is not a game you could possibly speedrun. This game is meant to be a slow burn exploration experience. I honestly can't tell you anything about the plot or story. I was not invested in that at all. It's everything else that does it for me. That isn't to say I didn't enjoy the characters, as there are a long list of charismatic and likable characters with diverse backgrounds that you interact with through the 100 hours of gameplay. Red Dead 2 is an authentic and lively Wild West experience, one of the only of its kind at this scale. I honestly can't think of what to compare it to. When you think of the Wild West, you expect gun violence, bank robberies, and train heists. Red Dead has its share, but it's so much more than that. There are so many random activities to do, from helping with hardships with the locals to getting drunk in a bar. You can spend hours getting hit with random side quests and totally forget what your main quest even is. The limitations to fast travel really help with this. There are only a few ways to fast travel in the game, and they all take more than a simple push of a button. But this is the game's way of making you take that scenic route to all your destinations. But between the beautiful scenery and the dynamic random encounters you may hit on the side of the road, it never feels like a chore, but more of an adventure. And the scale of this massive game, you can go from the snowy mountains to the murky bayous. This game makes an effort to show you all of the beauty of America. There are other small activities that could easily take up your time, such as fishing or hunting, to add resources, to build up the gang's camp. There's a system in place that forces you to actually take care of your weapons. Otherwise, combat actually becomes a struggle. That also extends to horse care, as your horse is a crucial aspect to this game. You gotta take care of it, feed it, clean it, love it. It's a whole system on its own. Speaking of systems, the morality system? Dang, this is the most severe morality system I've ever seen. Like, you could accidentally run someone over with your horse and become a wanted criminal on accident. It can get annoying, but it also makes you conscious of what you're doing at all times. You're in a world with laws and law enforcement, and it's realistic to be on the wrong end of that enforcement when you accidentally punch an unarmed man in the street. The aspect that really ties everything together is the overall design and attention to detail. Music and voice acting is great, of course, but it's everything else that makes the beauty of the 19th century America feels so alive. Lighting and level design, so detailed. There are seasons. No NPC looks the same, every town looks different. Immersion is a key term when describing Red Dead Redemption 2, because when there's about 60 plus hours of gameplay handed to you, immersed is what you're gonna be. If you go back to my first podcasts, the first show I covered was Lost. I watched seasons 1 through 3, and I am now about to start 4 through 6. But I loved season 3 so much, I just had to go back and watch it all over again. Then I listened to the podcast when I talked about season 3 to see if I agree with my original thoughts, and yeah, I'm still in that same mindset. So here's the replay of my Season 3 experience. Look forward to more Lost content as I am finishing the series, and I cannot wait. Alright, Lost, Season 3, continuing my marathon from last month. First half, I don't know what I expected, but just when I thought it couldn't get any weirder, bam, season premiere. We find Jack, Sawyer, and Kate immediately after the finale events in different yet equally bizarre locations as we get a glimpse into the whole other freaking town that has just been sitting there this whole time. And I was still confused. Like, they get all this information but haven't used the means to contact the real world? Like, what the hell is their goal? Then the next episode happens, and the other trio of getting things done, Saeed, Sun, and Jin, were actually trying to get things done. I really wanted their plan to work, but the hostiles anticipated exactly what they would do and went away with the boat. Like, how? I thought they did like a weird Pirates of the Caribbean thing, like where they were walking underwater or something, but they were dry. How the hell did they sneak right past our guys? Then the leader drops the bomb that he's been on this island his whole life and also confirms that they do in fact have access to the outside world. Like, what kind of Area 51 is this place? Then the third episode happens and we've got Locke wanting to speak to the island and is set on this spiritual quest, and then Hurley comes back, wanders around with a naked Desmond who should be dead but can now tell the future. You know, there was that episode entitled ? And that is exactly how I felt at the start of season 3. Like, what the heck? This was one heck of a start. And I just was so confused. My state of confusion had no bounds. I've made it through half of the season. I'm on episode 12 now, and that's basically been, that whole confusion state has been the mood this whole time. I found season 2 to be a bit boring, but season 3 has just been on a roll. The whole Hostiles plot, just trying to understand them, is a roller coaster, and I still have no idea what they're all about. Like, how they all got there, apparently. They've been around since before Dharma, but that's also not the case with everybody. We meet Eye Patch Guy and had a couple of episodes with him when he was pretty much being cryptic the whole time before he was brutally killed by a seismic wave. What? All of these questions about Dharma and the Hostiles, and none of them have really been thoroughly explained. Like, every question is answered with another question. I can go on, but I just want to end on Jack. First of all, Jack and Claire are half-siblings. Seriously? I mean, it makes sense, to be honest. Like, they're both kind of crazy to some extent, but OMG, what are the odds? Locke would probably say something like, it's what the island wanted. Psh, whatever, man. But also, Kate goes on this whole rescue mission with the fearsome foursome, Locke, Saeed, and Russo, almost dies, and finds Jack playing football with the enemy. And my first thought was, should have stayed on the beach with Sawyer, lol. And I could do nothing but laugh. So yeah, crossing my fingers that the season ends strong. With 10 episodes left, anything can happen. So, I finished season 3. Whew. Continuing where I left off last time, a lot happened. There were a couple of episodes where Kate was suffering because she did all that to go back and help Jack, but it turned out it was all a waste of time and she was pretty ticked off. Like, you did that to yourself when you could have stayed on the beach with Sawyer. As Kate and Saeed led Jack and Juliet back to the beach, at first I was like, maybe they're not part of a plan and they're just trying to get home. Saeed, of course, was sus, and he's always right, as Juliet was, in fact, part of some plan, and Jack seemed to fall right into the trap. However, we've seen her whole life story through flashbacks at this point, so we at least know her motivation, and it really was no surprise that she would end up betraying Ben. However, the writers kept viewers in the dark like the other characters, so there were a few episodes where there were trust issues with Jack, like, can we still trust him? Is he corrupted? Is Juliet good or not? Is she continuously manipulating Jack? And even though I figured it was all fine, I still had moments of self-doubt, and, you know, That's because of the writing. The writers definitely kept me on my toes, even when I thought I had it all figured out. As we got closer and closer to the finale, many bombs were being dropped. First of all, Locke's dad? He died and woke up on the island? What? And also happened to be the guy that broke Sawyer's family all those years ago. Oh my god, of course. Eye Patch Man. He is still alive somehow. In fact, I've seen him die 3 times. He already came back twice, and I'm totally looking forward to a 3rd resurrection. Parachute Lady showed up and dropped the bomb that the oceanic plane was found and all their bodies were recovered from the wreckage in a whole other part of the world. What? Ooh. I loved Ben's flashback episode for many reasons, but Nestor Carbonell's character literally has not aged. And Jacob, what the F is Jacob? And all those questions that I just brought up, all of these bombs that were dropped, are they all connected? Probably. Am I going to find out anytime soon? No. So I'm just going to continuously be in the state of confusion because Lost be like that. Season finale was pretty great. Charlie sacrifices himself in the Subnautica hatch that apparently was a thing. Hurley saves the day, of course. They thought they could trick me into thinking Jin and Saeed were killed off for like 5 minutes, but it didn't work. Saeed killed a man with his ankles. I mean, come on. And it seems everyone goes home. Jack was pretty determined to call for rescue. Locke almost stopped him, but never explained why. You know, at least Ben gave some sort of reason, or whatever, if it was true or not, who knows. But, like, what were they on about? Why can't they go home? They must have been right, though, because the flashback sequences of the last 2 episodes of Jack in total ruins, sad and alone, they were revealed to actually be flash forwards. And the finale ends with him telling Kate, "We have to go back." Like, there's so much left in question about this island, so yeah, I agree. We gotta go back. Whatever that may mean. I have some favorite moments of the season, like that one time Hurley was on a spiritual, religious expedition to start that one car and go for a joyride. Him, Sawyer, Jin, and Charlie had such a great time. It was dope. In fact, just any scene with those guys brings joy and solace to my heart, with everything else going on. Like when Hurley tricks Sawyer into being a swell chap by convincing him he will be banished if he does otherwise. Or that time he completely annihilated Sawyer at ping pong. I love that one quest when Desmond dragged Charlie, Hurley, and Jin into one of his future crab expeditions. Just the fact that Jin had no idea what he was signing up for, but he was just like super excited, like super hyped to go camping with his best buds. Quality entertainment. They roasted marshmallows, Charlie fiddled with his guitar, Jin told a spooky story, like this was Lost at its peak, like honestly. Also, you know that one episode about Nikki and Paolo? That was so random. I was so taken out of the plot because I kept thinking, like, were they actually there in all those scenes, or were they just inserted into the narrative for this one episode, which ended with them being buried alive? Like, these characters were introduced and built up over episodes just for this, and it was so random. What the heck? Overall, season 3 was pretty great. Shameless plug, go check out my blog on Lost seasons 1 through 3 to catch all of my thoughts on these seasons and my overall first impression and experience of Lost. This was a crazy show. Definitely recommend it. Finding Nemo. I don't even know where to begin. Man. But this movie has been one of Disney and Pixar's most iconic movies for 20 years now. I'll get to the story first. Pixar made us cry about animated fish. They start off with a massacre of Coral and all their little caviar in the cave. Marlin literally lost his entire family, except of course Nemo, who was born with a birth defect after this traumatic experience. The little clownfish with the lucky fin. Given the circumstances, Marlin becomes paranoid and overprotective, little bit of an anger issue, but it wasn't until Nemo was kidnapped that Nemo understood. Maybe his parent knew what he was talking about. Thus began Marlin's tale of finding Nemo. And man, it definitely hits hard. This is a father traveling the world to find his son.
I am going to bring him home!
Like, how hard is this movie to watch for parents in this situation? On the other side, Nemo is gaining self-confidence, learning how not to let his handicapped fin hold him back as he tries to. They finally reunite after a series of dramatic and hilarious events, and I'm crying. Nemo never had faith in his dad because of his nature and fear of life, but Marlin ignored his intuition, did not rest until Nemo was by his side. The last thing Nemo told his father was that he hated him. So for little Nemo to hear the wild story of how his insanely dedicated father was on his way to him, bruh. I don't know how, but the look on this animated fish makes you cry. Inserting comments about Dory, the original Elsa, if I should say.
Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Dory, no singing.
Oh,
Dory.
I love to swim in.
Dory.
When you want to swim, you want
See,
to
I'm gonna get stuck now with that song. Now it's in my head.
Sorry.
My comments go beyond to the not-so-bad sequel. Dory was, in fact, a missing child, just like Nemo, hence the title, actually. Dory is an amazing comic relief. I find myself genuinely laughing at her all the time. Her forgetfulness somehow doesn't get old. Like, she never learns Nemo's name. But her story is one of a missing child that never came home. She didn't get the chance to reunite with her parents, well, at least when she was still a kid. And I will never forget the heavily haunting image of her parents still leaving a trail of shells for Dory to find. Like, she could have been dead. She's literally an adult now, and they were still doing this? That's hella depressing. Alright. We got the story out of the way. Now let's talk about something even more important. Not only is this movie one of the most hilarious films I've ever seen in my life, it's insanely, horrendously quotable.
Shark bait!
P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
Today's the day! The sun is shining, the tank is clean.
Fish are friends, not food.
Escape. I wonder what that means. It's funny. It's spelled just like the word escape.
Already it's half empty.
I'd say it's half full.
Stop that! It's half empty.
Jesus, shut up! Okay, don't hurt yourself.
Blah, 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 me, me, blah, 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 me, me, me.
I shall call him Squishy, and he shall be mine, and he shall be my Squishy.
Saved your life! Oh, you guys made me eat!
You so totally rock, Squirt! So give me some fin. Noggin. Dude.
Hop inside my mouth if you want to live.
Dory, do you see anything?
Ah! Something's got me!
That was me. I'm sorry.
Who's that?
Who's that? Who could it be? It's me.
Are you my conscience?
Yeah. I'm your conscience. We haven't spoken for a while.
I never knew my father!
With fronds like these, who needs anemones?
Come back!
He's not coming back. You offended him.
Maybe a different dialect.
Dory, this is not whale. You're speaking like upset stomach.
Maybe I should try humpback.
No, don't try humpback. All right. You actually sound sick.
Maybe louder, huh?
Don't do that.
All drains lead to the ocean, kid.
Do you have your exit buddy?
That's a pretty big butt. Oh, look at me! I'm gonna go touch the butt!
The drop-off? They're going to the drop-off? What are you insane? Why don't we just fry them up now and serve them with chips?
Guys, it's insane how often I use these quotes. Sometimes for no reason other than to just say them. But that's the power of Finding Nemo. And that is why this movie will be in my top 5 Disney movies of all time, forever and ever and ever. Alright. A few months ago, we lost an incredible talent, Lance Reddick. You may not know who he is, but you actually do. I'll let you know why. He's the star of the week, and I guarantee you know him. Lance was a native to Maryland. Through high school and college, classical music was actually his thing, receiving a music degree from an actual school of music. He then studied drama at Yale for whatever reason, receiving a Master in Fine Arts in 1994. The 90s was the start of his career, with him getting a few minor roles in projects like Great Expectations, What the Deaf Man Heard, Brother to Brother, and Godzilla. I would say his big break was his recurring role in Oz, while the show The Wire really started his legacy. In fact, he had an extensive list of television appearances as a main star, guest star, or recurring role, such as Falcone, Law and Order, a few different versions of Law and Order actually, Young Sheldon, Wilfred, Quantum Break, Corporate, Carrier, New York Undercover, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, From Now On, Key and Peele, The Corner, Oz, Blacklist, Castle, Fringe, Bosch, Wire, American Horror Story as the iconic Papa Legba, and a few episodes of Lost? When? Where? Now I gotta be on the lookout as I continue my Lost marathon. With such an amazing voice that he had, no wonder he took part in voice acting as well. This included animations in video games like Destiny, Destiny 2, Payday 2, Beware of Batman, Batman Unburied, Tron Uprising, Castlevania, the show, Rick and Morty, DuckTales, The Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes as Falcon, the game adaptation of Quantum Break, the Horizon Zero Dawn franchise, and The Legend of Vox Machina as Thordak, leader of the Chroma Conclave. Through the 2010s, Lance Reddick was definitely a legend already. Some notable projects included One Night in Miami, Man on Fire, Lawman, Sylvie's Love, Won't Back Down, Godzilla vs. Kong, White House Down, Little Woods, The Guest, Faults, and Angel Has Fallen. Though I think he's best known for his role as Sharon in the incredible quadrilogy John Wick. Reddick passed around the premiere of the last film, so he was definitely in my thoughts when I saw him in that film when I saw it in theaters. Lance Reddick made his mark in the entertainment industry, and he's already so missed. That's it for this week. Again, follow me on Twitter or leave a comment, and let me know what you've been fangirling over this week. Thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you again next week.